I want to talk to you about the power of letting go. I remember lying on the kitchen floor. My body was convulsing. My weight had dropped to 50 kilos. I was dying of a life-threatening illness without even knowing it. I had nothing left to give. And in that moment, I felt a profound sense of relief. There was no fear. There was just acceptance of what was about to happen. I finally surrendered to the chaos and I just let go. That collapse in 2021 was the end of a 48-year war I had been battling against myself. I had run successful companies. I had worked in the nightclub industry for 30 years. I was living the life of a high-functioning individual, very successful. On the outside, it seemed like I had everything a person could ever want. But inside, I was trapped in a never-ending cycle of addiction and chaos. I had spent decades building a life of materialism, wearing the mask of a happy person. On the outside, everybody thought I was living a dream life. However, I had built that life to hide the trauma of a difficult childhood. In 2005, I moved to Asia in an attempt to heal myself. That would be after I tragically lost my first daughter. As you can see, I am heavily tattooed. These are the only reminders I have of the life I have lived. I got my very first tattoo when I was 12 years old. That would turn out to be quite prophetic. It was my name on my arm in flames, and that pretty much was how I existed for virtually my whole life. I am now 52 years old, and over the last several years, I have rebuilt my life from the ground up. You might be feeling the same way as you're watching this video. I do understand what it's like to exist in the darkness. I know what it's like to be stuck on the Western treadmill, the constant need for more, and the exhaustion of pretending you're okay. When you live with chronic stress, you are trapped in a loop of elevated cortisol that keep you in a state of mental and physical depletion. You can be literally destroying your life, all in an effort to maintain an illusion that is killing you and destroying your peace of mind. The biological reality is your brain has been rewired to seek validation through the external world and cheap dopamine spikes, especially when you're scrolling on your mobile phone. Materialism and the Western way of living is designed to keep you in a perpetual state of wanting more, and that keeps your baseline dopamine levels low. I would spend 14 years living in Asia, and even in my darkest moments, I would see a different way to exist. Although I couldn't appreciate that at the time, I have since returning to the UK come to understand that the way we spend our lives living in the West, always wanting more, always consuming, is causing us more damage and more pain. We trade our peace for shiny objects and status. To find peace, we truly do need to concentrate on the now, to build ourselves a routine of structure, and that will help us to get the life that we do desire without all of the material things that only give us a temporary relief. They do not give us everlasting peace, everlasting happiness. The first thing I would like to talk with you about is the 24-hour buffer. This can help you when you get the impulsive urge to buy something to fill that emotional void that you feel inside. And this is a very simple thing to do. When you're on your telephone and you're shopping for items, place the item into your cart and then wait for 24 hours before you complete the purchase. This allows the cooling of your emotional brain, which allows your prefrontal cortex to regain control and stop you from chasing the quick dopamine high that you can get from making purchases. This is a very simple step to take, and it breaks the constant consumerism loop. The second thing you can try is a 2-minute declutter. This is to help you not to feel so overwhelmed with the environment you are in. You can do this by collecting 3 things that you have which represent part of your past that you no longer need, you no longer require. You can pack them up into a bag. You can either donate them to charity or give them to somebody else who could make use of them. This will give you a micro win. It will let your mind know that you are in control of your situation. You are in control of the environment in which you live. This takes just 2 minutes to do, and it breaks the paralysis of materialism. The third, and one of the most important things you can do, is a digital blackout. Mobile phones are pretty much the greatest addiction that is facing the Western world today. And I truly do see that. Everywhere I go, people have their heads buried in their mobile phones. And this is a very destructive habit. Constantly reaching for your mobile phone whenever there is a small gap in your day. One of the best things you can do, place your mobile phone into a different room. Sit in silence for just 5 minutes. And I do understand it will feel uncomfortable at first, but it will prove to yourself that you can sit on your own without the need for constant stimulation. And that is very important when you want to heal and build a life that you can be happy to exist in. You're currently trading your health and your sanity all for things that will eventually end up in a skip. The Western world has sold you a lie that the material things that we possess are the only way to be truly happy. It would take for me lying in a hospital bed to finally realize, close to death, that all of the things I possessed were meaningless and irrelevant. And I have come to learn that we can all heal from even the darkest of places. And that is why I'm uploading these videos for you. You can cause chaos within your mind, anxiety, sadness, constant comparisons to the online world. And the online world is not real. People portray themselves in their best lights, trying to give off the illusion of happiness, that they have it all figured out, when in reality, I truly do understand, after being around thousands of people throughout my life working in the nightclub industry, that everybody wears a mask. I know I did for most of my life, always pretending things were great, always buying things to make myself feel better. But the happiness does not last for long. You have to be willing to kill the version of yourself that lives for the approval of others. Something else you can try to help to remove the friction from making changes within your life. If a task takes less than 5 minutes, get up and do it straight away. Do not give your mind a chance to make up an excuse or make up a story as to why you cannot do the thing you need to do. This removes the friction of decision fatigue and stops the pileup of small stresses that lead to collapse. And I know it sounds simple. It removes every excuse you have for staying stuck, for staying trapped exactly where you are now. I have truly come to understand how powerful that one thing can be. Action creates the motivation that thinking never will. I remember looking at myself in the mirror of the hospital. I had been admitted and I was very close to death. All I could see staring back at me was a skeleton, a corpse that had pretty much given up on existence. I had lost my home, my business, my dignity, but it's only through losing everything I have come to truly understand that you cannot lose the peace of mind that you have. Letting go is like dropping a heavy weight you've been carrying your whole life just because you thought you had to. My initial videos have been about benzodiazepines. I never actually know what I am going to speak about on these videos. And I would like you to comment below truth if you are still watching this and you are going to do one of the steps I have spoken about in this video. And I am living proof that you can lose everything, you can be close to death, and you can still come back from the darkness as long as you keep going every single day and you never stop, you never give up.